All right, today we're going to tackle a concept that's absolutely foundational in Swift, access control. It's really the thing that separates messy, fragile code from the clean, secure, and truly professional apps we all want to build. So, let's dive right in.
So let me ask you this. Think about the code you're writing right now. Are you building a fortress with guards and locked gates, or is the front door just wide open, letting any old piece of code just wander in and, potentially break everything? That's exactly the problem access control is here to solve.
On its core, access control is all about putting up walls and locking doors around your code. It lets you be the architect, deciding precisely which parts of your app can see and talk to other parts. And this is so much more than just security. It's the secret to writing code that's organized, way easier to understand, and a breeze to maintain down the line.
Okay, so how do we actually lock these doors? Well, Swift hands us this awesome set of 5 distinct security keys. Each one is a different access level that we can use to grant very specific permissions. Let's get to know them.
So here's the lineup, ranked from the most permissive, open, all the way down to the most restrictive, private. We're basically going from a master key that can unlock the entire building down to a tiny little key that only opens a single desk drawer. Just getting this hierarchy in your head is the first huge step to mastering this stuff.
All right, now for the fun part. Let's zoom in and really look at each of these levels, one by one, to figure out exactly when, and more importantly, why you choose each one.
We're going to start right at the top of the pyramid with open. You should really think of this as the master key. It's the most permissive, most powerful level, and it grants the absolute widest access to your code. So what makes open so special? Well, it grants this kind of double permission. Not only can code from literally anywhere see and use an open entity, but, and this is the big one, if it's a class, other modules can actually subclass it and override its methods. This gives you, or other developers, maximum freedom and flexibility.
And the perfect classic example of this is Apple's own UKit framework. I mean, think about it. UI View Controller is marked as open for a very specific reason. Apple wants us to subclass it to build our own custom view controllers. You use open when you are intentionally creating a foundation that you want other people to build upon.
Okay, taking one step down from open, we find public. I like to think of this as giving someone access to the main lobby of your building. They can come in, they can use what's publicly available, but they definitely can't start knocking down walls or redecorating. Now, here's the crucial difference. Just like open, public things are visible everywhere. But, and this is the key takeaway, you cannot subclass a public class or override its methods from outside its own module. This draws a really important line in the sand.
So why bother with this limitation? It's all about protecting your API. It's for when you want developers to use your framework's tools, but you don't want them messing with the core behavior of your classes. Public strikes that perfect balance between letting people in and keeping things stable.
Now we get to internal. This is like your standard employee key card. It works great anywhere inside the company, or in our case, inside the module. But the second you step outside that building, it's completely useless.
This is actually the default access level in Swift, and for a really good reason. Most of the time, the different parts of your app just need to talk to each other. They don't need to be exposed to the whole world. Internal is perfect for keeping all your app's inner machinery neatly tucked away.
Think about your view models, your service layers, all those utility classes. Pretty much the entire core logic of your app will likely be internal. And that's not just okay, it's by design. It's the bedrock of a well-organized application. Okay, now we're getting even more restrictive. Meet file private. This is like having a key to a specific office inside the building. It only works for the code that's literally in the same room, or in this case, the very same Swift file. I mean, its scope is incredibly precise. Anything you mark as file private can be used by any other class, struct, or extension as long as it's written in that exact same .swift file. The moment you step outside that file, poof, it's like it doesn't even exist. This is just fantastic for keeping your code tidy and encapsulated. If you've got a little helper function that only one particular class will ever need, make it file private. It hides that implementation detail away so it doesn't clutter up the rest of your module.
And at last, we've arrived at private. This is the key to your own personal desk drawer. It is the absolute highest level of security, granting access only within a super tightly controlled space.
This is the ultimate lockdown. A private property or method can only be used inside the single class, struct, or extension that defines it. This is even stricter than file private. Other code in the same file can't even see it if it's outside that one specific declaration.
And this is absolutely essential for protecting the internal state of an object. If you have a variable that's managing some delicate piece of logic, you mark it as private to guarantee that nothing from the outside can ever reach in and mess with it. This is encapsulation in its absolute purest form.
Phew! We've made it through all 5 levels, so now let's pull it all together and look at the master blueprint to see how they all stack up against each other.
And here it is. You can see this beautiful, clear progression. The access scope just shrinks and shrinks from the entire project down to the module, then to a single file, and finally to just one type. And look at that one lonely check mark for open. That really highlights its unique power. This kind of side-by-side view is the perfect cheat sheet for choosing the right level for any job.
Okay, after all that detail, if there is just one thing you walk away with today, please make it this guiding principle. This is truly the golden rule of access control.
It's so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Always, always start with the tightest restriction you can, like private or file private. Then only open it up to internal or public when you have a very clear and necessary reason to do so. This forces you to be more intentional, and it naturally leads to cleaner, safer, and better designed code.
So, with these 5 keys now in your tool belt, you're officially equipped to be the architect of your own code base, building strong walls, secure doors, and just beautiful, clean, modular systems. The only question left is, what are you going to build and protect?